Everyone wants to be great. Everyone wants their life to matter. That's natural. It's how we're wired. But what if real greatness isn't what we think it is? What if it's not about getting ahead? Not about being the loudest? Not about standing higher than others? The world tells us, climb faster, shine brighter, fight harder. But Jesus said something completely different. He said, the first will be last, and the last will be first. He turned everything upside down. In God's kingdom, true greatness looks different. It's about choosing humility, celebrating others, serving when no one is clapping, and trusting God's timing, even when it feels slow. Today, we'll walk through 4 simple ways to live with that kind of quiet strength, the kind that lasts. Let's dive in. 1. Possessions can become chains. When what you own starts owning you. Owning things isn't wrong. Blessings aren't bad. God delights in giving good gifts to His children. But sometimes, without noticing it, what we own starts owning us. The gifts become gods. The tools become chains. And what once served us starts mastering us. That's what happened to the rich young man. He came to Jesus full of good intentions. He had lived a moral life. He kept the commandments. He was the kind of person most of us would admire. But when Jesus looked straight into his heart, he saw the hidden chain. Sell everything you have, give to the poor, then come, follow me. And the young man, who had so much on the outside, walked away grieving, because he wasn't holding his wealth. His wealth was holding him. I once heard a story about a successful entrepreneur. He built his dream company from scratch, worked 16-hour days, sacrificed vacations, weekends, even friendships, and he made it. He became the CEO, respected, wealthy, admired. But somewhere along the way, he stopped owning his company, and his company started owning him. He couldn't sleep without checking numbers. He couldn't enjoy family without thinking about deals. Even at his son's graduation, he spent half the time texting investors. One day, during a routine doctor visit, they found a heart problem. Stress-related, life-threatening. All his achievements, the empire he had built, couldn't save him from what he had become chained to. And he realized too late. He had gained the world, but was losing his soul. How do you know when something has gone from being a gift to becoming a chain? You feel anxiety at the thought of losing it. You cling tighter when God whispers, "Let go." You find your peace depends on it staying in your hands. Here's a simple practice. Take a piece of paper. Write down 3 things you treasure most. It could be your career, your reputation, a dream you've built, a relationship you can't imagine losing. Then ask yourself honestly, if Jesus stood in front of me today and asked for this, would I hand it over with open hands? Orient. There's a true story about a missionary couple. They spent 30 years building a vibrant church overseas. They loved the people. They poured their lives into that work. But one day, through unexpected circumstances, they had to leave it all behind. In an instant, everything they built was handed over to others, and instead of bitterness, they smiled. Because they never saw it as theirs to begin with. They were stewards, not owners. And because their hearts had stayed free, their joy stayed strong, even when their hands were emptied. The truth is simple. Whatever you refuse to surrender already owns you. God doesn't ask you to let go, to take life from you. He asks you to let go, to set you free, because only the hands that are open can receive something greater, and only the heart that is surrendered can walk in the fullness of His joy. 2. True freedom begins when nothing owns you. Jesus never said that having possessions was wrong. He never criticized wealth itself. Abraham was wealthy. David was a king. Joseph ruled Egypt. Wealth wasn't the problem. The problem was, and always is, attachment. When what you own starts owning you. when your peace depends on things, when your joy is tied to what you can't let go. That's what Jesus warned against, not prosperity, but slavery to it. There are rich men who are completely free inside, and there are poor men, chained tighter by greed than any millionaire. Because slavery to possessions is not about how much you have. It's about how tightly you hold what you have. Freedom isn't about having little. Freedom is about holding everything lightly. Think about Abraham. God blessed Abraham with herds, land, gold, more wealth than most could imagine. But when God tested Abraham, asking him to lay his most precious treasure, his son Isaac, on the altar, Abraham didn't hesitate, because even the things he loved most never owned his heart. He was ready to lay down everything because his trust wasn't in the blessing. It was in the blesser. On the other hand, there are people with almost nothing, and yet greed still rules them. They envy, they resent, they chase, they clutch tight to whatever little they have, believing if they lose it, they lose themselves. And in that clinging, they are just as trapped as any rich man obsessed with wealth. So how do you know if you're really free? You test it, not when you're forced to let go, but when you choose to. Voluntary letting go. This week, pick one thing you love. Something small but meaningful. Your daily coffee ritual. Your favorite online shopping habit. Your scroll through social media before bed. Choose to lay it down for 1 week. Not because it's wrong. Not because it's bad, but because you want to train your heart. To let go freely, to stay light, to stay free. Observe your reactions. Do you feel restless, anxious, irritated, like something is missing? Good. Because the things that stir your discomfort are the very things that can grow into chains if you hold them too tightly. Freedom isn't about having nothing. It's about needing nothing to have peace. It's about being able to enjoy blessings without depending on them for your joy. It's about saying, if God asks for this, I can give it back without losing myself. True freedom isn't what you keep, it's what you can let go of. The lighter you travel, the stronger you walk. Because the ones who can lay anything down are the ones God can trust to carry anything. 3. The power of letting go. The lighter you travel, the stronger you stand. In a world that tells you to hold tighter, to gather more, to build bigger, Jesus offers a different path, a lighter one, a freer one, a stronger one, the path of letting go. Letting go doesn't make you weak. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you live carelessly. It means you stop clinging to what can never truly secure you. It means you start holding on to the only thing that can never be taken from you, the presence of God. The tighter you grip temporary things, the more fragile your peace becomes. Because everything you cling to can eventually slip away. Money can disappear, status can fade, relationships can shift, dreams can crumble. But when you anchor your heart to the unshakable, to the presence of God Himself, you become steady in every storm. I once met an old farmer living in a small village. His house was simple, his clothes were worn, his possessions were few. But when a flood came and swept away half the village, people noticed something strange. While others panicked, cursed, and grieved, this old man sat quietly, hands folded, peace written all over his face. When someone asked him how he could be so calm, he smiled and said, "I already gave it all to God a long time ago. I still have what matters most." He lost his fields, he lost his home, but he didn't lose his peace. Because his peace wasn't tied to what he had. It was tied to who he belonged to. He had mastered the secret. The lighter you travel, the stronger you stand. Here's a small practice to start walking lighter today. Every morning, write down one simple line. The one thing I never want to lose is the presence of God. Write it before you check your phone. Write it before the busyness rushes in. Let it shape your priorities. Let it reframe your losses. Let it strengthen your grip on what truly matters. Because at the end of the day, it won't be the ones who built the biggest empires, who stand strongest. It will be the ones who anchored deepest in the only thing that cannot be shaken. Let go of what you cannot keep. Hold fast to what you cannot lose, and you will walk through storms stronger than you ever imagined. 4. The journey from letting go to inner strength. When Jesus invited the rich young man to follow him, it wasn't just about giving up money. It was about giving up control, giving up comfort, giving up the things that felt safe. And the young man couldn't do it. He loved what he had too much. So he walked away, sad. But the disciples, they made a different choice. They let go. They dropped their nets, left their jobs, stepped away from everything they once called home. And because they did, they found a different kind of strength. A strength the world couldn't give and couldn't take away. Letting go doesn't make you weak. It sets you free. It clears the clutter. It sharpens your focus. It builds a strength that lasts. When you hold less, you can run faster. When your hands are empty, your heart can hold more of what really matters. Letting go does 3 powerful things for your soul. 1. It clears your focus. When you're not busy chasing too many things, you can see clearly what really matters. You stop wasting energy. You start moving with purpose. 2. It makes you lighter and faster. Carrying too much slows you down, not just physically, emotionally, spiritually too. When you travel light, you move quicker. You don't get tangled up in things that don't matter. 3. It makes your roots deeper. If you anchor your heart to things you can lose, your peace will always feel shaky. But if you anchor your heart to God, to what's eternal, you'll stand steady, even when life gets rough. Think about Peter, James, and John. They left their boats, their businesses, everything familiar. And in return, they found a mission bigger than anything they could have built on their own. They became part of a story that's still changing the world today. All because they let go and trusted Jesus to catch them. Here's something you can start this week. Inventory prayer. Once a week, take 5 minutes. Sit somewhere quiet and simply pray, Lord, is there anything I'm holding on to that's taking your place in my heart? Show me. Help me let it go. Be honest. Listen quietly and trust that even small steps of surrender are building big strength inside you. Letting go isn't about losing everything. It's about making room for what matters most. And when you live lighter, you'll find yourself standing stronger than you ever thought possible, because real strength comes from a heart that holds on to one thing only, Him. 5. You can't hold Him if your hands are full. The rich young man didn't walk away because he didn't love God. He walked away because he loved something else more. He didn't want to let go. He wanted to add Jesus without subtracting anything. But Jesus wasn't offering an addition. He was offering a full exchange. Sell everything you have. Give it away. Come, follow me. Not negotiate. Not compromise. Not halfway. All in. Or walk away. And the young man chose to walk. We still try to do the same. We want God, but we want to keep our backup plans too. We want eternal life, but we don't want to release control. We want heaven, but we're not willing to loosen our grip on the world. And Jesus stands there, still asking the same thing. Empty your hands, then take mine. Picture a child on a playground, hands full of broken toys. Dirty, cracked, useless. Someone offers them a brand new treasure, something lasting, beautiful, priceless. But they can't take it because they refuse to let go of the junk in their hands. They cry, they resist, they cling to trash. and miss the gift. And that's the tragedy of a heart too full. You can be standing right in front of the King and still miss him because your hands are too busy holding something else. Here's a real step you can take. Every day, sit still for 10 minutes. No music, no noise, no distractions. Imagine your hands opening, slowly. Picture yourself dropping everything you're clinging to. Fear of failure, fear of missing out, control over your plans. The need to be comfortable, the need to be in control. Drop them, one by one, until your hands are completely empty. And in that emptiness, let Jesus step forward, not as one more thing to add to your busy life, but as the only thing, the center, the King, the treasure worth losing everything else for. You cannot hold Jesus with hands still clinging to the world. You cannot follow him fully with your fists full of temporary things. You will either let go or walk away. But if you open your hands, you won't end up empty. You'll end up holding everything that truly matters. And you'll wonder why you ever clung so tightly to anything less. Empty to be full. What you own can lift you up, or it can weigh you down. If you're not careful, the very blessings you chase can become the chains that hold you back. Real strength doesn't come from adding more to your life. It comes from letting go, from carrying less, needing less, trusting more. It comes from walking lighter and standing stronger. In the end, the ones who finish the race strong are not the ones who carried the most baggage. They are the ones who traveled with empty hands and full hearts. The ones who knew that everything I lose for him, I find multiplied in him. Today, you have a choice. Keep clinging to what can be taken, or open your hands to hold what can never be lost. Because true greatness isn't about grabbing tighter. It's about letting go, to grab hold of something far better. If you're ready to walk that lighter, freer, unshakable path, don't stop here. Watch the next video. How Jesus redefined success, the kingdom perspective. Because the world tells you what success looks like, but Jesus tells you what true victory really is. And once you see it, you'll never chase the wrong things again. I'll meet you there.